Create telemetry to enable seeing and solving problems by Jay, Tony, Brianna Montez, and Cassie Jones. An overview. Centralized telemetry infrastructure, application logging telemetry for production, self-service access, and finding and filling gaps. In this presentation, we're going to be talking a little bit about what telemetry is, some of the applications that we can use for it, and what that can really entail.
So what is telemetry? It is just an automated communications process by which measurements and other data are collected at remote points and are subsequently transmitted to receiving equipment for monitoring. So we want to be able to create a centralized telemetry infrastructure. We want to be able to understand how the system works as a whole unit. And as we do that, we can collect what are called centralized logs in a central location, accessed for everybody. We can transform those logs into workable metrics to be able to find anomalies and outliers and variances early on in the process. This saves us time and money. We collect telemetry on time to execute builds and tests. This helps us to detect conditions that could indicate problems and allows us to find and fix errors before they go into production. We create telemetry that tells when, where, and how anything of interest happens. This just makes it, we need to make it really easy for everybody to find the data on the system. So this is also suitable for manual and automated analysis. We can do it by hand, or we can make the process automated.
Create application logging telemetry that helps production. Like it was explained in the last slide, application logging is a process of recording data into a log whenever something of note happens in a system. An example would be every time someone logs into a device, every time an error occurs. Application logging allows the user the ability to record what is going on in the system so that you can observe what is happening even when you are working on it. Application logging is very important when it comes to telemetry, and it allows the large-scale organizations the ability to really keep track of everything that's happening in a project, so that there can be less problems or that there can be greater insight for any future things that they want to implement. When working with telemetry application logging, what we are really doing is creating a measurable log of information that can tell us what is happening in the system. This log will tell us when updates are made, when errors occur. It goes even further in explaining to us output, how much processing power is being used, what data proceeds correctly and what does not. This is very important because when it comes to any application or any type of product that we are making or system that we are setting up, it's good to see how much processing power is being used and what is happening. If it's running too many programs at the same time, it will begin to cause whatever system you're using, it will cause it to overheat. It can cause it to be unnecessarily bulky, and it can cause problems futuristically.
So creating self-service access to telemetry and information radiators. Our goal is to radiate this information to the rest of the organization by making it easier for anyone who wants information about services that are being run. Making telemetry fast and easy to get is production metrics will be radiated on web pages, generated by a centralized server. Putting information radiators. Team has nothing to hide from its visitors, such as customers, stakeholders. The team has nothing to hide from itself. We broadcast this information out to internal and external customers. It acknowledges and confronts the problems. An example is by creating publicly viewable service status pages so customers can learn how the services they depend on are performing. After creating an infrastructure where telemetry can help us understand our processes and applications and environments as a whole, we also need to know if there are any gaps in our data. In order to find any gaps, we must gather telemetry from all levels of our application stack and deployment pipelines. So if you remember, our application stack includes, but it's not just limited to, our code base, our database, our storage, network, and environment. Environment including production, testing, and other used environments, as well as supporting deployment pipelines. On the right is a list of each of the levels where we need to gather metrics that will help us see the health of all the services we rely on. By gathering these metrics, we are better able to see if there are any gaps in our telemetry data, and in turn, recognize issues early and correct them.
In general, the overall of what we're trying to accomplish with this presentation is explain how we are able to basically record information that happens in our system. We want measurable, understood data that allows us to improve our product so that we can either fix errors early on, fix them as they come, or be prepared for something that futuristically might occur. We're glad you were able to watch our presentation. Thank you, and goodbye.